Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call to order this regular meeting of the Naperville Park District Board of Commissioners. It is Thursday, September 12th, 2019 at 7:01 p.m. If everyone that is able would please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Bridget, please take the roll.
President Janner.
Here.
Vice President King.
Here.
Commissioner Carlson. Commissioner Egan.
Present.
Commissioner McBroom. Here. Commissioner Riley.
Here.
Commissioner Todd.
Here.
Bridget, does anyone from the public sign up to speak on a non-agenda item?
No.
Okay, then we will move forward to special recognitions. If I can have Pat Fuller, please join me up at the podium. Thank you. Pleased to recognize one of our Fort Hill fitness members, Pat Fuller. Earlier this year, our Fort Hill fitness staff nominated Pat, who is a Silver Sneakers member at Fort Hill, for a national award through the Silver Sneakers program. Silver Sneakers is a nationwide senior fitness membership program that provides free fitness memberships that incorporate physical activity while inspiring and motivating others along the way. This is for qualified adults ages 65 and up. I might need to check your ID because you look like you might be a little too young for this, but I'm sure somebody checked it. This award was the 15th annual Richard L. Swanson Inspiration Award that honors a Silver Sneakers member who has improved his or her own life through a healthy lifestyle. And in June, we were excited to learn that Pat here was chosen as one of 10 national finalists for this award. We are very proud of you, Pat, and this recognition, and that you are known around Fort Hill Activity Center for the way you encourage others by your friendliness and enthusiasm at the center during the time that you enjoy there. So please accept this certificate as a token of our appreciation. The certificate reads as follows. The Naperville Park District Board of Commissioners and Executive Director are pleased to recognize Pat Fuller for the exceptional example she sets for her fellow Fort Hill fitness members and for being an inspiration for the nationally acclaimed Silver Sneakers program. Pat, congratulations. I'd like to invite Pat to say a few words.
To all of those who are attending today, I want to just say that this has been such a pleasant experience, and thanks for the compliment. That's been even more pleasant. But one thing that I'd like to say is when you are surprised with a position such as this, it really just sort of bakes in what it is that you're doing or not doing. And I think that for all of us, we sort of take for granted our health and our wellness. But it's so important, nutrition, first of all. And then secondly, just moving. Doesn't have to be here, there, or whatever. Just walk around through that door and out the other door. Just as simple as that. And that's complete fitness and wellness. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pat. Okay, then let's move forward into updates and reports. The first item is the Riverwalk Commission update. Commissioner Carlson, do you have a report?
No report this week.
Thank you. Then we'll move on to the Parks Foundation update. Vice President King.
Nothing to report. The next meeting is set for 10/1.
Thank you. Moving on to the Finance Committee update. Commissioner Carlson or McBroom, do you have a report?
No finance report.
Thank you. Legislative Committee, the next meeting of the Legislative Committee is scheduled for 9 a.m. on October 3rd, 2019. That will be in the Administration Boardroom. Parks and Recreation Committee update, Commissioner Riley.
Thank you, President Janner. And because I was not at the August meeting, I'll read into the record two reports. First, the Parks and Rec Committee met on Friday, July 19th. The committee discussed and agreed to set the third Friday of the month at 10:30 a.m. in the Administration Building Boardroom as the standard meeting schedule. Director Wilson provided an update on planning in Director Schutz's absence. In accordance with the Capital Projects Prioritization Program, a community open house will be held on Thursday, August 8th from 5:30 to 7 in the main lobby of the Naperville Municipal Center. Director Wilson updated the committee that we have gained ground in attendance at the beach after a slow spring start. Attendance was down 37% at the end of June, and revenue was down 18% compared with the three-year average. Through July 17th, attendance and revenue had rebounded. Chicago Metro Pickleball is currently holding a professional pickleball tournament at Nike Sports Complex with over 400 entries. This is the first tournament of its kind hosted at a Naperville Park District facility. Talking about Fort Hill Activity Center, our fitness memberships now total 3,600, and the total of all members is nearing 9,000. Finally, Director Wilson discussed a process improvement related to priority registration for youth sports program volunteers, working on converting this manual process to electronic. Next meeting of the Parks and Rec Committee was Friday, August 16th. Director Schutz provided more information regarding pull-up bars for Patriots. We have identified Wolf's Crossing Community Park as an ideal location. Total cost is estimated to be $19,957 for installation in 2020, and donations are being accepted to offset this cost. Director Wilson updated the committee regarding one change to the draft IGA with School District 203 relating to Knock Park Phase 2 improvements. Initially, the term of the agreement was to be 10 years, but the school district has requested changing the initial term to 15 years, which was determined to be reasonable. Based on online survey results, Director Schutz reported there was some resident interest in adding basketball courts at Three Meadows Park and Summer Lake Park. We'll reach out to the HOAs to determine the depth of interest. A goal within the strategic plan is to form a Citizens Advisory Committee. This would be a review team comprised of a cross-section of 12 to 15 community members. A clear mission and focus would be defined for the committee to provide structure and enable success. Regarding the Buttonwood Park utility and drainage easement, residents have expressed concern regarding this project where native plantings are being planned to provide more efficient stormwater management instead of turf. Director Schutz will provide more information on the project in the August 22nd meeting. Director Wilson distributed the quarterly recreation financial report, reporting that overall facilities and programs are performing well. Revenues for all programs and facilities through July is up 2%. Basketball registrations for the fall 2019 and winter 2020 seasons were off to a good start, exceeding prior year first day registrations by 280 participants. Director Luthman updated the board that we had only 2 bidders for the program guide printing project compared with 7 in 2013 and 9 in 2016. A contract is anticipated to be presented to the board for consideration in September. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Riley. And now for the board president report. In recent weeks, there has been a significant increase in civic engagement and participation here in Naperville. Earlier this month, I attended a meeting of the Naperville City Council on a city matter, and the room we are in right now was completely filled with passionate and engaged citizens. Over 250 people signed up to speak at that public meeting, and one city councilman reported that he received more resident correspondence on that matter than any other matter in his tenure. Likewise, at our last Park District Board of Commissioners meeting, a number of passionate and engaged citizens attended and signed up to speak at that meeting. Again, today we have some of the same people in attendance and some new faces as well. I personally have received more emails and correspondence directly from residents during the past month than I had in the past year. So civic engagement and participation is trending upward, which I think is great. Naperville residents working to make a difference in their community through civic engagement and participation is absolutely outstanding. And while sometimes exchanges can become spirited and even confrontational, the alternative is often apathy and indifference, which leads to low voter turnout and a host of other negatives for any community. So I would like to take a moment to publicly thank anyone that took the time in the last few weeks to write us a letter, send us an email, send us a link to an article, attend one of our public meetings, speak at a meeting, sign a petition, or circulate a petition. While we may not always agree on everything, us commissioners are always glad to listen to residents and wrestle with issues and try to find some common ground. So again, we sincerely appreciate when citizens engage and participate. For those residents that have jumped into the fray on one particular issue here at the Park District or the School District, City Council, DuPage County, State of Illinois, or wherever, I would like to encourage you to stay involved. Petitions are now being circulated for many elected offices for the next election cycle. So if you have a friend or neighbor that is running for office, reach out, circulate a nominating petition, join their campaign, run for office yourself, volunteer, attend a public meeting, engage with elected officials, ask questions, make comments, and stay involved. Thank you, and I'll turn it over to Executive Director McGurry for the Executive Director report.
Thank you. This is not going to be nearly as inspiring as yours, because I'm going to talk about Night at the Movies and Mary Poppins. The Park District's free outdoor movie series on Night at the Movies finishes the season with the showing of Mary Poppins Returns, which is tomorrow, September 13th, 7 p.m. at the Frontier Sports Complex. Please bring your chairs, blankets, and make sure to dress for the weather, because it's going to be totally different than it is right now. The 95th Street Farmers Market is open every Thursday from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. through September 26th at the 95th Street Library parking lot. Right now you have fall treats for sale, including apples, apple cider, donuts, caramel apples, and homemade pies. Vendors bring fresh local produce, including meat, eggs, and baked goods. Stop by for the best of the fall harvest. Registration is currently underway for the basketball league for both kids and adults. Both boys and girls in Naperville Youth Basketball are forming for kindergarten through 8th grade. Men's leagues are available for men ages 18 and up, and men 35 and over, and women ages 18 and up. For more information on those different age categories and leagues, go to napervilleparks.org to learn more. The weekend of October 4th through the 6th is the Naperville Park District will host Summer Place Theater's Ghost Stories in the Park in the Dark at the Riverwalk Grand Pavilion. Tickets are $7 and are available at the door or through Naperville Park District at napervilleparks.org. Shows run Friday and Saturday and Sunday evenings. And finally, new this year, mothers and sons are invited to a Mother and Son Superhero Night on Saturday, August 5th at 6:30 p.m. at Ranchview School. Dress as your favorite superhero and enjoy food and dancing to a DJ. Again, to register, just go to our website, which is napervilleparks.org. That's all I have.
Thank you, Executive Director McGurry. The next item on our agenda is the approval of the monthly treasurer's report.
Move to approve the July 2019 Treasurer's Report.
Second.
Any discussion? Bridget, please take the roll.
Vice President King,
Yes.
Commissioner Todd,
Yes.
Commissioner Carlson,
Yes.
Commissioner Egan,
Aye.
Commissioner McBroom,
Yes.
Commissioner Riley,
Yes.
President Janner.
Yes. Next item on our agenda is the Park Meadow project at Buttonwood Park.
President Janner, I move that staff's plan for Buttonwood Park be modified to use native plantings in the area to the south between the two established trees and to reseed the area immediately adjacent to the playground and tables.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Commissioner Riley?
This has obviously been turned into somewhat heated discussion. I want to start off by thanking staff for the excellent professional work they did on developing this plan. I think from a professional staff standpoint, it is their initial plan was the right way to go. At the same time, the residents in the area are very active users of this park, and there are certain things they do that this area that I suggest be reseeded is an integral part of. So I think as commissioners, we have the responsibility to balance the ecological needs and our core values and the fine work that our staff has done with the desires of our residents, as long as we're not putting the park, quote unquote, in danger. So that's why I bring this forward.
At this time, I'd like to invite any members from the public that would like to address the board on this particular agenda item. And we've established some ground rules here tonight to protect everyone's right to speak and be heard, while at the same time preserving order and decorum. I'd like to just go through those very quickly. When called, please state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes. When your 3 minutes is up, I will call time. We have a timer back here, and the speaker must promptly leave the podium at that time and yield to the next speaker. Please direct your comments to the entire board and do not direct questions to any individual board or staff member. Us commissioners generally keep the entire evening open on a meeting night, so we have no particular time constraint, but we do understand that many members of the public have young families and need to get home to their children at a reasonable hour, so please respect the time. If you have already sent us an email with your specific comments, we have read and reviewed those emails, and in the interest of time, you are not obligated to speak tonight and repeat what you've already stated in your email. Furthermore, no one should come to a public meeting and be intimidated or harassed because of their viewpoint. So for this reason, clapping, cheering, booing, or other things like that will not be tolerated here at the meeting. Again, this is in the spirit of being open to all perspectives and all voices on this matter. If this important rule is violated by any member of the audience tonight, it'll be my responsibility to take immediate action to stop this, which may include stopping the meeting entirely, asking the offender or offenders to leave the meeting, and or terminating the public comment section entirely and moving directly to a vote. So with that being said, Bridget, who was the first to sign up to speak?
Bridget McKernan.
Folks, when you come up, just hit the button on that microphone, and when it turns red, you are on.
Am I on? And then Bridget, how do I get that picture up? I'm sorry.
Dave, can we put the park? Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you for allowing public comment regarding Buttonwood Park. And many thanks to those commissioners that I've seen walking through our beloved park these past few weeks. I did take a couple of pictures yesterday so that if you were not able to visit our park, you can see the referenced area as they appear, as opposed to a drawn rendition on Google Map. It was interesting when I looked recently online. The Park Meadows Directive and the FAQs have substantially changed since the last board meeting regarding the Park Meadows project. There's a much greater focus now on conservation. As we look at the first picture, note the areas that are brown. These are the areas that were sprayed with some type of turf-killing herbicide. Someone before had asked me if those areas were due to flooding, and I just wanted to confirm no. These were the areas that were intentionally sprayed and killed. And truthfully, it's not lost on me that those poisons went down the drain and into Maywatts Pond and other waterways. Note, I'm standing at the tree in the far north end of the park when I take that top photo. Looking further south, you might see a boulder that's in our field, and that's where you're going to hear children yell all the time, tree to rock, because that's what they do. They do these running races from the big tree to the rock. I've even seen kids come home from college in their 20s, sibling rivalry, getting the best of them, yelling tree to rock, because they're going to settle that today. On the second photo, if I could just scroll down here. See, oh, Bridget, I'm sorry. Thank you. And I could just talk it through. if you
Yeah,
can't pull
maybe.
it up.
I can't
No
get it right
worries.
now. Sorry.
No worries. The second photo was taken from that northeast side of the park. And I just wanted to share, I was feeling nostalgic and going through some old photos, and I came across a photo of my oldest that was actually in that exact spot on that northeast side that's all been killed off right now. And she was in the center of it, and she was standing next to a weeping willow tree. And that tree's not there now, and I guess I kind of forgot about that. And I just wanted to mention that because I wonder if some of the sogginess that the Park District sees as very cumbersome, especially in the springtime, could just be solved by planting a weeping willow tree there that was once there. On Friday, I delivered a petition to each of you, and on it, 200 signatures were present. These represented 5 different subdivisions. It included Buttonwood, Countryside, Westwind, Windgate, and the Fields. I'm asking you to please listen to these Naperville residents. We want our park free from the native prairie grasses so that our children and grandchildren can freely run and play. Please listen to these hundreds of registered voters and represent their wishes. I respectfully request that you put a motion on the floor to exclude Buttonwood Park from the Park Meadows project. Please make it a roll call vote so that all the residents know exactly where you stand. Thank you again for all of your time that has been spent just on this one single park. I appreciate it so very much, and I appreciate, Mr. Riley, that you're trying to come up with a compromise. Thank you.
Thank you. Bridget, who's our next speaker?
Alan Lowe?
Bridget, would you mind, while Alan's coming up to the podium, just read the speakers in order so everyone will know when they're up next?
After Alan, the third speaker is Lorraine Katz. Fourth is Doug Dahmer. Fifth is Dave, Muttler. Sixth is Stuart Katz. Seventh, Carrie Simpkins. Eighth, Brian Katz. 9, Jamie Jones. And 10, Hunter Byington.
Thank you.
Hello, Commissioners. My name is Alan Lowe. I'm at 1173 Banyan Court, just up the street from the park. We've used the park many times, and we enjoy the large grass areas on there. As you know, we've had the Naperville Park District has done the bands in the park. We've done the trailer and brought that in, and we've had the live band and had lots of people in that park, probably a couple hundred. We actually have neighborhood gatherings at the pavilion that you probably voted in. That's probably 6 years ago, which is fantastic. And again, that makes a gigantic green area for all the kids to play as adults are gathering and talking in the neighborhood there. We've had soccer events and many others. So just want to state my opinion would like to keep all the areas as grass and no tall, metal grasses in the area. I know you have one compromise for where the rock area is in that area, but still that's a kind of a walking gateway as people come in from my street as it goes down into that area. And the grass has been fine there for many years. And as you know, the drains were actually cleaned, I think a week or so ago, and they did find some debris in those. And I know just from my point, because I drive by there every day, the grass area does seem much drier. And I wonder if you had taken some samples or readings just to see how much drier it is since the drains have been cleaned. So again, just like to, my preference to keep the park as a full grassy area and no tall meadow grasses. And thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next speaker. Omar, would you mind just sitting in that first seat and helping out with any of the AV so Bridget doesn't have to keep getting up? Thank you.
Dave, can you turn on the projector?
Okay. Oh, good. Okay. Hello, I'm Lorraine Katz. I'm from 750 Buttonwood Circle. On Friday, as you know, you were given a petition involving 200 signatures from the users of Buttonwood Park. 50 of these signatures were gathered in just one weekend at the park. Buttonwood Park is a heavily used park. It promotes your mission statement of healthy lives, healthy minds, and healthy community. The area that you want to plant native grasses is at the heart of where children play. Last Wednesday, we were told by the Park District that the planting of native grasses and plants is about water and cleaning the water. Cardno Limited is the supplier for the seeds of the native grasses and plants. The Park District is planning on using stormwater seeds from this company. I have been told by Cardno Limited that these stormwater native grasses and plants don't clean the water. In fact, only one seed out of the 32 seeds will clean the water, according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture and Cardno Limited. Also, more than half of the plants and native grasses will grow above 5 feet. Furthermore, Cardno Limited doesn't recommend using these seeds in all of the areas that the Park District has planned for Buttonwood Park. I was sent data by the Park District about rain gardens and infiltration rates. This is the data the Park District sent me to base their decision on planting native grasses and plants in our park. Buttonwood Park isn't a rain garden and can't, by definition, become one. Furthermore, the data they use is old, from 2004, and from Wisconsin. No soil analysis has also been done in Buttonwood Park. Do you really want to go ahead with this project using this flawed data? Cardno Limited Company recommends a 5-year plan for taking care of native grasses and plants as they grow, including a controlled burn. Some of these sites are even as close as 10 feet to either houses or the park equipment. How are you going to protect these structures from getting burned during a controlled burn? How are you going to part of the reason the native grasses and plants need at least 5 years of care is so the weeds won't grow with the native grasses. Also, the temporary cover of oats and rye will die off. That is part of the seed mixture. What maintenance will be done to not clog the drains? As you can see here, this is from one of the parks that is on your Meadowlands Park District. This is a drain, as you can see, totally covered with dead grasses. Currently, the Park District is contracted for care of native grasses with a company for 1 year. What about the other 4 years? Lastly, May Watts Park is only 0.2 of a mile from Buttonwood Park. Hobson West Park is less than a mile from Buttonwood Park. Do we really have to have all of our parks turned into native grasses and plants? Aren't we sacrificing a working park that is heavily used for yet another area of native grasses and plants? Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please come forward.
Good evening. My name is Douglas Dalmar. I live at 1206 Hobson Oaks Court. This is the picture that is in your packet that you got. It is somewhat misleading because at the southern end of the picture, there's really an additional 500 feet further down of parkland. One of the things that is shown is the area that on the north end that is going to be turned into prairie grass. You really have to include, even though it says 13,000 square feet, you really have to include the distance between that area and the sidewalk because practically it won't be used, even though it won't be converted into prairie grass. MapQuest gives me this, and I have a copy of this for Bridget for your files. It basically shows the whole length of the park being 1,000 feet, 1,100 feet long. And it consists of basically two parts, the pork chop part, the meat, which is where we're really talking about, and the rest of it, which is very long, elongated area where it's very difficult to do much of anything from the standpoint of recreation, although it is there. If you look at the complete park, you're basically looking at essentially a 300 by 285 foot section there at the top, which gives you 85,000 square feet, and then the elongated section is an additional 42,000 square feet, which gives a total of 127,000 square feet. The proposed meadow is 15,000 square feet, so it becomes approximately 11 point of the overall park is going to be converted into meadowland, which agrees reasonably closely with what is in the memo in your packet, which says about 10%. When you say, okay, let's look at the north end all by itself, because that's basically what we're really talking about. Now we're talking about 85,000 square feet, which is where under question from the standpoint of major events as far as the kids playing and so on and so forth. If you look at 15,000 square feet for the meadowlands and mentally add on the distance between that and the sidewalk, you're talking about well over 17.5% of the park of the meadowlands taking up of what that section is.
That's time.
At this time, I urge you to vote no on converting this part into meadowlands.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Dave Muethler, 705 Mulberry Court, Buttonwood. Been a Buttonwood resident for over 30 years now, 33 years. Adding this to the park, I think, would destroy a lot of the play value of the park. As mentioned, the kids go down there for soccer practice, baseball, football games, pickup games like that, and I think adding this to it, as well as what was mentioned on the concert in the parks, would have a reasonably deleterious effect on it. So I'd urge you to vote no. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Commissioners, my name is Stuart Katz, and I live at 750 Buttonwood Circle, kitty corner from the park. I'm here tonight to ask all of you for a no vote to the Park Meadows implementation at Buttonwood. The goals and expectations of this particular project are misaligned for this park, and I think will cause more harm than good. From each of the Park District's core values this project claims to support, there are compelling arguments that the results for Buttonwood Park would undermine other foundational ideas that the Naperville Park District supports. Staff's moving target of reasons doesn't present a real understanding of the park's detention and release attributes and use by the people that it serves. When challenged for specifics to support the solution, staff has responded with cherry-picked data, right? References from out-of-state projects only to be rebutted by facts from sources like the seed supplier that staff is indicating will be used. I'm sure you've read the emails, and I'm sure that you're listening tonight. For Buttonwood Park, the Park Meadows solution is a surface-level attempt to fix an underground problem. The immediate attention feels pretty good, however, the long-term root cause, no pun intended, ladies and gentlemen, will still exist. The city's TED group has found several blockages in the stormwater pipes underneath and near the park, including one line that was 80% blocked by roots, leaves, and trash. This experience shows planting plants with longer roots, like native grasses, eventually will impair the drainage system that staff is claiming to aid. Ongoing communication with the city's TED group and working on the root cause underground have been productive. It's also a solution my neighbors support. As commissioners, The baseline for your vote tonight is whether Park Meadows' expected outcomes for Buttonwood Park will enhance its overall functionality or impair it. Any evidence to the latter would justify a no vote. Thank you for your time and appreciate your service to the community.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good evening, and thank you. I don't have any fancy statistics. My name is Carrie Simpkins. I live at 968 Elm Court, and I'm a member of the Field subdivision, so I actually have to pass 2 parks to get to Buttonwood. I don't have any statistics. I don't have any visual aids. I'm coming to you as a mother of boys, a mother of boys who have a lot of energy. I'm a scout mom. In that den, I have 19 boys that have a lot of energy. And I feel like I have to spend a lot of time fighting for space for free, unstructured play. Buttonwood has served my family, the family that I've given birth to, the family that I've grown in Cub Scouts, for 14 years now. I don't want to lose any more space there. I appreciate landscape art. I appreciate what you're trying to do. I appreciate the statistics, but please just don't take that green space from the boys and the girls, and the girls too. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hi all, my name is Brian. I am a resident of 750 Buttonwood Circle. I am 22 years old and grew up playing in this park. The current space you guys have cut out to put in the meadow is a good idea on paper, right? But where the cutouts are the main spaces that kids play. I no longer play there. That's just how life is. But I'll come home or wake up on a weekend, just walk around the neighborhood or bicycle, do some things with my family, and there's kids littered in that field doing soccer, football, baseball, playing catch with their dads. Every once in a while there's an adult football game there for after Thanksgiving in that field where the cutouts are. The current cutouts push park activities towards the back of the park, which is a more narrow area, which puts houses at risk. Nobody likes broken windows, dented siding, or fixing their house in general from something they really didn't do. These fields are a great part of the park. It's great for the parents because they can stand in one spot and see their kid throughout the whole park. Versus May Watts, you have to follow your kid. There's a lake, there's grass, there's hills, there's the baseball diamond. As it is, May Watts is more of a older kid hangout area because of all that stuff, because you can kind of hide in little pockets here or there. Buttonwood Park, you really can't hide, except for maybe down the hill where mom and dad can't see, or they maybe forgot their glasses. I don't know. But the park itself is a great space for kids to go about, run around, play, and then parents will take them home, and voila, the kid wakes up the next day to do the same thing, unobstructed by grasses, and the mom or dad doesn't have to follow the kid around because they're concerned they'll lose him in the grass. That's just my quick thoughts on that. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hi, I'm Jamie Jones. I live at 1186 Banyan Court. My house is directly across Buttonwood Circle from the south cutout. My driveway is directly across the street. And I totally appreciate the compromise that was proposed tonight by Mr. Riley, the spirit of compromise. That being said, I join my neighbors in being against either of the proposed planting areas in our park. I don't agree with my 13-year-old son, one of my 4 kids who plays in that park all the time. He and I don't agree about almost anything today, but we do agree that that cutout, the south cutout or the north cutout, would totally ruin his and his friends' use of that park. As he said, Mom, what kind of weird game of football do they think we're going to play in a park that's shaped like an hourglass? And that's what you would leave us with if you go forward with plantings in those 2 areas, which are much larger when you see them in person than maybe they look on that paper. And I appreciate the staff's hard work. I appreciate what they're trying to do. I'm a lawyer, and in my world, if you don't prove something by a preponderance of the evidence, at least, it does not exist. And when I look at all of the data that have been put forth by the staff about the environmental benefit that they're hoping to achieve by these areas of grass plantings, I just see absolutely no evidence that they will materially achieve the impact that they say they want to achieve. And you have to balance that hypothetical chance that maybe there will be some benefit to the environment from a few feet of native grasses against what you've heard from 200 citizens who represent voters and taxpayers and families of kids who play in that park every single day. And I think that if you approach that balancing test with intellectual honesty and you try to put aside what I get is a completely human desire to support your staff, who I know works hard and I know they're trying to do the right thing. But if you put that aside and approach this balancing test with intellectual honesty, I really think this is an easy decision. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
I think I'm not going to be invited to any parties in our neighborhood. I think you should vote yes and go for this. My name's Hunter Byington. I'm at 733 Buttonwood Circle. We've lived in Buttonwood since 1983. And when we got there, the city said this was a great idea, having a ditch for a retention. And they proved it. It filled up with water. I liked what you all had done as a park district in turning it from a ditch into something you could do something with when you put in the play equipment. I like the way you designed the thing. And I think as you look at it now, it still has the same problem it had in 1986, and that is it's a ditch. Water collects there and then flows in when it's not clogged up, off site. I'm not sure about where the kids play, but it's pretty muddy there for a long period of time until the water gets away. What I was impressed with was that the city, or not the city, but the park district, had come up with a reasonable natural plan to address the water, to address collecting it, making it not as soggy as it would be. I think sogginess sort of leads to things like mosquitoes. This would be something that would address that. So I like the way you were also doing it in a natural way. The grasses that we talked about, if we were looking for something that, or at least I thought of, that you were looking for something that would affect the runoff, I thought the type of grasses you were putting there did that. It held 4 times more water than the grass that's there, or not there, depending on the time of year. So I just want to endorse the concept. I won't say that we have 200 people that have signed a petition. I'm not sure that they knew all of what you all were doing, but I really want to thank Ray and the staff for coming by and sharing with us what their thinking was. Final comment I'd make is it does look to me like from what the original plan was to what you're proposing now is a very reasonable compromise. It doesn't eat up a lot of the space. I'm not quite sure where that's coming from, but you've significantly reduced what you were taking out with grasses and putting in place a natural answer to handle a problem of runoff and water. So thank you.
Thank you. Bridget, was Hunter our last speaker? Okay, so I'll remind the board, we have a motion on the floor. We had a second. We're in the discussion stage here. Any other discussion from any commissioners? Commissioner Egan.
Mr. President, I move that we side with the residents and reject Buttonwood as part of the program.
There's already a motion on the floor.
Right, as a point of order, there was already a motion on the floor. There's been a second. We're in the discussion stage. So if this motion were voted down, then we could make another motion. Attorney Price?
Or are you making a motion in substitution?
Same difference, but yes.
So that needs a second for a motion in substitution.
Is there a second to Commissioner Egan's motion?
I'll second.
Point of order, Dirk, does a motion to call the question supersede a motion in substitution?
No, this motion was first in time, so now there's a motion and a second to substitute Mr. Egan's motion for the original motion, and that requires a roll call vote right now. There's no discussion on a motion to substitute.
So we're now in discussion on...
No, there's no discussion on a motion to substitute. You take a roll call vote on whether to substitute Commissioner Egan's motion for the original motion. Yes means you substitute Commissioner Egan's motion, which is to direct staff not to do any of the planting at Buttonwood. That's, as I understand the motion, right?
Correct.
So it's a roll call vote. A yes means we're substituting Commissioner Egan's motion for the original motion. A no means we're going back to the original motion. There's no discussion on it.
Is everybody clear on that? So the motion here is just related to substitution. We're not voting yes or no on Commissioner Egan's motion. Okay. Bridget, please take the roll on the motion to substitute.
Commissioner Egan?
Aye.
Commissioner McBroom?
Yes.
Commissioner Carlson?
Yes.
Vice President King?
No.
Commissioner Riley?
No.
Commissioner Todd?
No.
President Janner?
No.
All right. So the motion to substitute has failed. We're back to the original motion.
Is there any other discussion on the original motion? Commissioner Egan?
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll be voting no to any motion where the residents aren't honored. Well, we're free to interpret our roles. I interpret my role here as to act as a check and balance against staff. The residents have spoken clearly. While I appreciate staff's desire, passion to stick to one of our core values, I find it humorous that later in this agenda that we're going to destroy a forest to print program guides. So if this should pass, I would expect that people would join in rejecting the printing of those program guides, not only saving $100,000, but sticking close to our environmental core here. It's not going to be an easy decision, I understand, but we're here for parks and rec. We're not running a recycling. We need to side with the residents and let the kids play. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Egan. Commissioner McBroom?
Yeah, a question for staff. I think I've read all the emails that have come in, and tonight, I can't remember the name of the speaker, but she addressed the effectiveness of the cleaning of the water by the. My assumption was that was this was an important reason for doing this, and that was kind of a given that that these prairie grasses do clean the water, and so I don't know if staff can address if there's any.
Director Schutz?
Yes, to respond to that question, they clean but also absorb the water. Prairie grass sucks up about 4 times more than turf grass. So it's not only cleaning, the representative, the resident identified the comment about the cleaning, but it's also the absorbing. And this dry mesic prairie mix, as we all know, what Knock Knolls Park, Sportsman's Park, all the sites, we have 8 of the 9 sites that are planted this year for Park Meadow. There's much more to that. We've been doing this for years. We work closely with the Conservation Foundation, Mort Arboretum, our staff. You know, they've been doing this for many years. So we're very confident in the mixes and what we're proposing here.
Just one more question. The blockage in the drain that the city unclogged,
Do we have any idea how much that would mitigate the standing water? And do we have any idea how often the city checks these drains for blockages?
I cannot speak for the city. They normally will respond when a problem is identified.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, Bridget, please take the roll.
Commissioner Riley?
Yes.
Vice President King?
Yes.
Commissioner Carlson?
No.
Commissioner Egan?
Nope.
Commissioner McBroom?
No.
Commissioner Todd?
Yes.
President Janner?
Yes. We'll now move on to the consent agenda. Bridget, would you please read the items on the consent agenda?
7.1, approved August 2019 disbursements in the amount of $2,289,427.43. 7.2, approve August 2019 disbursements made through the Bank of America Purchasing Card Program in the amount of $236,589.87. 7.3, approve August 2009 disbursements made through the FinTech electronic payment system in the amount of $2,788.35. 7.4, approve August 2019 customer refunds in the amount of $6,135.38. 7.5, adopt the Naperville Park District's non-tax revenue plan. 7.6, approve July 25th, 2019 regular meeting minutes. 7.7, approve July 25th, 2019 executive session closed meeting minutes. 7.8, approve ordinance 964, authorizing execution of an intergovernmental agreement between Naperville Community Unit School District 203 and the Naperville Park District for development and shared use of property improvements at Knock Park. 7.9, award the printing contract for the 2020 Quarterly Program Guide Series for publications to Action Printing for an estimated annual cost of $136,136. 7.10, approve purchase of one 2019 Ford F-350XL 4x4 dump truck from Curry Motors Fleet for $44,650.
Thank you. Are there any items to be removed from the consent agenda?
Mr.
Commissioner
President,
Egan?
Can we pull 7.1, 7.9, and 7.10?
All right, move to accept consent agenda items 7.2 through 7.8.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Bridget, please take the roll.
Vice President King?
Yes.
Commissioner Todd?
Yes.
Commissioner Carlson?
Yes.
Commissioner Egan?
Aye.
Commissioner McBroom?
Yes.
Commissioner Riley?
Yes.
President Janner?
Yes.
Move to approve consent agenda items 7.1.
No, we have to do the voice vote to approve the consent agenda as established.
I'll accept. Yeah.
So Commissioner Vice President King made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
This is a voice vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Now 7.1.
Now we'll move on to unfinished business. The first item under unfinished business is item 7.1, approval of the August 2019 disbursements in the amount of $2,289,427.43. So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion?
My standard no vote due to the 4% raises.
Any other discussion? Bridget, please take the roll.
Vice President King,
Yes.
Commissioner Todd,
Yes.
Commissioner Carlson,
Yes.
Commissioner Egan,
No.
Commissioner McBroom,
Yes.
Commissioner Riley,
Yes.
President Janner.
Yes. Next item on our agenda is item 7.9, awarding the printing contract for the 2020 Quarterly Program Guide Series 4 publications to Action Printing for an estimated annual total of $136,136.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
I look forward to everybody joining together and embracing our environmental desires and rejecting printing and tearing down all these trees and wasting ink.
Executive Director McGurry.
Yeah, I'd like to address that comment. In the spirit of the same vote that Commissioner Egan just took, siding with the 200 residents, which we all respectively respect that, 66% of the tax-paying public requested a printed program guide. So I would accept that you would change your vote to a yes, based on the fact that you just voted to side with 200 people, and we should hear their voices. With the same voices on every single program or every single community survey we've done since I've been here is in excess of 65%, the last one being 66%.
Thank you. Any other discussion?
Rich,
Please.
is the executive director an elected official?
No.
Thank you.
Bridget, please take the roll.
Vice President King,
Yes.
Commissioner Todd,
Yes.
Commissioner Carlson,
Yes.
Commissioner Egan,
No.
Commissioner McBroom,
Yes.
Commissioner Riley,
Yes.
President Janner.
Yes. Our final item under unfinished business is approval of one 2019 Ford F-350 XL 4x4 dump truck from Curry Motors Fleet in the amount of $44,650.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Commissioner Egan?
This is an example of money that could be dedicated to building a indoor aquatics facility that 80% of the voters in a statistically significant sample have requested for years.
Any other discussion? Bridget, please take the roll.
Vice President King,
Yes.
Commissioner Todd,
Yes.
Commissioner Carlson,
Yes.
Commissioner Egan,
No.
Commissioner McBroom,
Yes.
Commissioner Riley,
Yes.
President Janner.
Yes. We have no new business, so future meetings. The regular meeting of the Board of Park Commissioners, originally scheduled for September 26, 2019, has been canceled due to commissioners attending the National NRPA Conference in Baltimore. So the next meeting after that will be on October 10th, 2019, 7 p.m., right here at Naperville Municipal Center Council Chambers, 400 South Eagle Street here in Naperville. We will now move on to executive session.
Move to adjourn to executive session to discuss land acquisition under Section 2C5 and litigation under Section 2C11 of the Open Meetings Act.
Second.
Any discussion? Bridget, please.
Vice President King,
Yes.
Commissioner Riley,
Yes.
Commissioner Carlson,
Yes.
Commissioner Egan,
Aye.
Commissioner McBroom,
Yes.
Commissioner Todd,
Yes.
President Janner.
Yes.
We don't anticipate any business after, so